Hey guys, Steve back with you. Now this video is not diecast related. It's a video about for the vinyl community, really. I've been watching vinyl community videos for a few years, and that's like record albums, in case you don't know. Collectors, and I'm not really a vinyl collector, although I still have a lot of my old ones. Not a lot of them, a few hundred. I had a lot of them stolen when I was in college. But anyway, what I wanted to do is show some albums that, and a few CDs. I got a couple of CDs. I didn't have the vinyl handy, but some of my favorite albums of all time. So what I'm going to do is show those, and then I made another group of live albums that I've enjoyed over the years. So anyway, I'll start out with this one, Led Zeppelin II. Of course, I've been a Led Zeppelin fan for a long time. I've enjoyed all their albums, but the second one's probably my favorite. And then Robert Plant, I've got all his albums. He did a lot of solo albums in the, when was it, 80s? Several that I liked in the 80s. So that's one of them. And then here's a CD, Chicago. This was actually a large record set. I think there's 3 or 4 albums in this group. This is back in the beginning. I think maybe this is their second album. I'm not sure, but I played it a lot when it first came out. And that's when Terry Kath was with the group before he died, the lead guitarist and one of the lead singers. And saw them in concert a couple of times here in my hometown. And I remember it was in the early days, you could just walk right up to the stage and it wasn't any big deal. It was a lot of fun back then. But anyway, there's a lot of good music on this one. Just titled Chicago. Then Super Tramp. Always liked this album. I think this was their first one. I'm not sure. But yeah, that was really popular when it first came out. Breakfast in America. Think of that one. Dire Strait's first album. Great album. Got to see Mark Knopfler in Nashville when he was solo, and he put on a good show. Great guitarist. Now I like this album, but I like this one just as well. And I got it on CD on Every Street. Dire Straits. A lot of good music on that one too. Emerson, Lake and Palmer. Brain Salad Surgery. Love this album. This was popular when I went to college, about 75, 74, 75. Remember playing that in the dorm room. Really good album. Greg Lake. I think Greg Lake, the lead singer, was one of the best vocalists for a rock band ever. The group I liked in my teen years, Yes. Close to the Edge was my favorite album of theirs. It's only got 3 songs on it. A lot of their music was very long cuts. So, but yeah, a lot of these guys are dead now. Chris Squire, the bass player, he died not too long ago. Steve Howe is still alive. Some of them, John Anderson's still alive, but he doesn't play with them anymore. I did get to see John Anderson and Rick Wakeman together in Nashville a few years back. That was great to see them. Then I've seen Yes in Nashville too, when Chris was still alive with them. But great music. I always enjoyed those, that group. This album, Captain Beyond. It's the first album. Love this. This is rock. The lead singer was the former singer for Deep Purple. Rod, I can't remember his name. If I heard it, I'd remember it. But Rod Evans, yeah. Yeah, he sang for Deep Purple for a while. And he sang with this group. And they did a couple albums. And Rod left the group and disappeared off the face of the earth, pretty much. He didn't get into rock or music anymore. In fact, I think he became like I don't know, some kind of, not a doctor, but he's in the medical field, is what I heard. Anyway, this is a great album. And their second one was also good, Sufficiently Breathless. This is just self-titled. The third album, Dawn Explosion, was terrible. Just, like I say, Rod had left the group then, and it was just nothing like the others, the first two. Another favorite album, Electric Light Orchestra, Out of the Blue. It's a double record set. It's got a lot of great music on it that most people would recognize. You know, Turn to Stone, Across the Border, Standing in the Rain, Mr. Blue Sky. Just a lot of good music on there. Got to see them in concert here in town many years ago. And then this was the stage. They had this set up as the stage, the spaceship. Don't remember a whole lot about that concert for some reason. Paul McCartney's always been a favorite. I think the Ram album is probably my favorite of his. Like I say, he's got so many albums and a lot of good songs on a lot of the albums. But this one's probably my favorite. Love it. All right. Probably my favorite artist now, Sting. And this is the album that started it all for me. Nothing Like the Sun. His first, I don't know if it's his first solo album, it might have been, but loved it. Still do. Saw him in concert in Nashville a few years ago. Put on a great show. And Geno Vanelli. I was in University of Tennessee bookstore when I first heard a song on the radio that I loved. It was off this album, and I found out who it was. I guess they said who it was, but I was a fan after that, and I have all his albums. Finally, a couple of years ago, I got to go down to Atlanta for one of his concerts. He doesn't have a big following, but he'll fill up a small venue, you know. And I got to go to the sound check and meet him and have a picture made with him and all. And that was, got some autographs, so that was a lot of fun. Big Geno fan. The funny thing is, I think the biggest song he ever had was on the radio. He didn't have many songs on the radio, but one of them was I Just Want to Stop, and I never cared for that song. But he's got a great band, and it just sounds so good. Play it on a good stereo system. It's really, really good. Okay, that's about it on my favorite albums. There's a lot of other artists, you know, people like Billy Joel and that have the Beatles, you know, but I don't really have a favorite album by them. They have so much great music that it's just kind of spread all over all their albums. And I'm going to get into the live albums that I've really enjoyed. This one was an early one, Ventures Live. I've always been a drum. I had a drum set for many years, and I never took lessons or anything, but I used to love to play along with. Mel Taylor was the drummer for the Ventures, and he was one of my first idols, I guess, drummers. But this is a good album. There's a lot of good music, live music on it. It's just really good. I enjoy a lot of the live music better than I do the studio stuff a lot of times. Buddy Rich. My dad told me about Buddy Rich when I was young, probably 12 years old. And of course, Buddy used to be on Johnny Carson all the time. Used to see him on there a lot. I saw Buddy in concert probably 5 times, and just a fabulous drummer, one of the best. And got to meet him one time, got his autograph at the local high school right down the street here. He used to play a lot of high schools and universities, as well as big concert halls. I saw him one time with Tony Bennett, you know, so, but anyway, Buddy, I've been a big Buddy fan for a long time. He's been dead, gosh, I don't know when he died, 86, something like that. But another live album, Hendrix in the West. Always like Jimi Hendrix, of course. And this has got a lot of great songs on it. There's one song on here, Red House, that is, of course, there's a lot of versions out there, you know, the studio version and other live versions, but the live version on this album is one of my favorites of all time. He just really kills it on that version on this album. Climax Blues Band, FM Live. Don't know a lot about this group. I remember them, but there were several songs on this album that I just really liked. So, Stanley Clark, I Want to Play for You, bass player, jazzy, you know, jazz rock kind of stuff. This has got a lot of great music on Always enjoyed his music. Another one from the early days, Deep Purple. Good live album, made in Japan. Highway Star, Smoke on the Water, Space Truckin', Lazy. Really good music on that. Yes Again. Yes Songs. 3-record set. Great live recordings there. With the old group with Wakeman in there. Really good. I wore this thing out. It was around college time too. High School Days, Grand Funk Live. Got to see them in concert here in town too. That was loud. But great music. Wore this one out too. It's coming apart. I think I've got that one on CD now too. Steppenwolf Live. Love that one. Got to see, what's his name? Lead singer. John Kay. Got to see him over in Nashville. He was John Kay and Steppenwolf, and then, but he was the only original member. Of course, the lead singer, that's the important one. Did a great concert over there. Had new respect for him after I saw him. ZZ Top, Fandango. Always been a ZZ Top fan. And Fandango is a great live album. Got to see them here too when Dusty was still alive a few years ago. Bass player. Of course, he just died recently. Eric Clapton, Just One Night. One of my favorite live albums. Of course, great guitarist. Got a lot of good songs on this album. Used to go to the lake and blast that in the car. I remember. Played it on, I guess it was cassette. The last live album I have is this one. I have it framed. Woodstock. Of course, everybody knows, old timers know this one. This one's special to me because it's autographed by the couple on the front there with the blanket around them. That's Bobby and Nick Erkeline. I sent this to them and they autographed it for me. So, yeah, a lot of good music on this one too. Classics. So, anyway, that's all I've got. I don't know if I'll ever do anything like this again, but I might. Let me shout out to Rod, Happy Hippie, the vinyl guy. He's the one that really got me to do this. I watch him quite a bit. In fact, it's kind of funny. I've watched his videos for about a year, and come to find out, he just lives a few miles down the road from me in the next town. So, small world. Shout out to you, Rod. All right, guys, I'll get back to the diecast here next time. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.